I am not giving financial advice,
Yeah.
but this is what I do and what I believe. And I just think there's a lot of upside in front of Ethereum.
Can you explain to the audience how are you earning yield on the crypto that you're staking, and what is staking?
Yeah, and no, great question, because I don't want to assume everyone knows these terms. Here's a good. I'm going to explain this with an analogy. So the way traditionally there's all these financial services that we use: credit cards, insurance. We go to the banks and we get loans. When we do that, all of those, we go to we go to like a local bank because we need a loan. That bank, after they review us and we qualify for a loan, that bank originates that loan from like another bank. And like the smaller bank that you're talking to, like they have to pay down that loan too, just like you do. And there's a difference, and like they keep the margin, and that's like they share that with deposits, and like that's how like the world turns around there. Or like with insurance, like you will, well, I'll just stick with the first example with lending. In the decentralized world, it works a little bit differently. There's a lending protocol, but there's no big bank to like originate a loan. Instead, there's sort of like a big pool of money, and like a Wikipedia army of people like you and me. We deposit money into that pool, and that software will use that to lend out money to people. And so instead of like the bank, like the fees that would normally get paid to the bigger bank are paid to people who put money up to be lent out. It's kind of like peer-to-peer lending, but like this is with crypto. And so that's like one way to earn. There is no need to have your money be idle. Like if your money is just sitting in a bank account, it means it's not earning money for you. And in DeFi, basically there's many different types of savings accounts. Like what is a savings account? Isn't a savings account just like where your money is that you can click and go get it? And like right now we all click and go get it out of our bank account. That's a savings account. But a savings account could also be a lending protocol, which has an interface and a button, and you can deposit your money and it will be there for you. It's just being lent out, and anytime you can click it and remove the money, and like you've got it. But like while it was being lent out, you were earning fees. There is a once in a generation shift in technology that's going on right now. The last one that was this great might have been like when like electricity or really like maybe the internet. Like the thing that's happening right now is over 70 years we've been building computers and getting them out there. World War II happened. Then out of that, several mainframe companies emerged out in and like created Silicon Valley. Decades go on, we get the desktop computer. Time goes on, the internet, then the iPhone apps. We're all on the phones. We're all connected on social networks. Now, here we are today. Pretty much like most of the world, we're getting to the finish line of like everybody in the world has a smartphone. And then now crypto, like apps are being made. And so everything up until now has been like a digital interface to the traditional stack of like the way the world works. And that's been the way we've onboarded everyone onto this technology. Like this big supercomputer internet thing that we're all on. And that project is really epic, but like now we're ready to begin like phase 2. Right now, like there's 200 million people that are kind of like touching crypto right now. And of those like 200 million people, there's probably just like single digit million, maybe even hundreds of thousands that are active in DeFi. And so like, where's this whole spiel going? Like you asked me about like what to do with your money. This is happening. And everyone, what's interesting about crypto is like, if you own like Ethereum, that's like owning a toll gate. And the whole world is about to walk through the door and join the crypto internet. And the interesting property of this internet is they're going to have to buy their way in. They're going to have to convert their money into crypto. And all of the people that are here now basically get paid when that happens. And so you want to be exposed to crypto while the whole world is still outside and like needs to walk through the front door, because you're the toll person at the front door, and you want to collect as many fees as possible.
Would you recommend I sell my Bitcoin and convert it to Ethereum?
I don't own any Bitcoin because it's just, I believe in it. It's further out on the risk curve. And so, Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million one day.
Mhm.
That's it's probably going to happen in the next 10 years. Maybe it's going to happen in 5 years. I don't know. But like, it's in the far off out. It's going to happen. But that's a 20x. There are tokens like Ethereum it will have greater multiples in front of it. I think that Atom and Luna and Solana and Polygon, like all these other technologies that are just getting their flywheels going, like as their ecosystems grow, they're all having a Cambrian explosion of startups getting funded and new users. And like the whole market is now doing their research on Atom and Cosmos, and like so all of these are earlier out on the risk curve, and so they have more multiples in front of them. They may not even be as big as Bitcoin ever becomes, but there's more upside.
Change topics and talk about your vision for the future. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where do you see DeFi and the global market for crypto assets?
Okay, where do I see DeFi in 5 years? In 5 years, there will be $1 trillion in stable coins printed, and I think it will be extremely normal for people. We will start to see in 5 years, regular consumers will be affected by DeFi products that like fintech companies will have integrated. So like Robinhood will probably be mostly crypto. They'll get most of their revenue from crypto. You'll be able to buy any token you want on Robinhood. It will be powered by Uniswap. I think most people that we know, I think 90% of people will own crypto in 5 years. I think today there's like this booming conversation of like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on in NFTs and DeFi. I think the volume only turns up over 5 years. And because like right now, it's like, it feels loud, but it's actually very few people.
If I wanted to create a brand, what would be the steps I would need to take?
To create a brand, I think, these things, the people who participate see an aspect of themselves in the brand. And so Bored Ape Yacht Club and CryptoPunks will use those examples. I think like there's 3 things to think about. Like there's a framework for like how to create a fandom. And I think the way you want to think about like you're creating a brand is you're creating an object of fandom, like the thing that the fandom loves. And so here's like the 3 ways to think about it. And then you can use this to assess the quality that you can create of this fandom. So thing 1 is basically the emotional range. Being a fan of something, you need to go and experience highs and lows. You need to have something to look forward to, milestones, rituals, things that like basically fire off dopamine and like this is why we participate in fandoms, because we're creatures and we want to live an adventurous, exciting life, but like that's dangerous. And so we go into fandoms where like that stimulates our brains. So that's more like on you to think of the content experience. Like, oh, I'm looking forward to the next podcast. I can't wait for the conference. That was a bad episode. I can't wait for a good episode. Oh, has an epic guest coming up. Cool. These could be the things. I don't know. 2 is self-identification. People in the fandom need a way to self-identify. They need a way to recognize other fans in the wild. They need a way to look in the mirror and say, I believe you, you are a fan. They need a way to advertise to other people that could be fans, hey, you should join us. And so there's code words that you learn from the podcast, like, oh, only people who know this, who listen to the podcast know this. Like, that's a good theory about Arya Stark. You have to listen to the True Fan podcast. Or, oh, you're a silver status. Like I see that on your banner. You had to apply to get that. That's like not easy. There's only 100 people with silver status. Or like, oh, you have the merch. Yo, you got that 3 years ago. I was there 3 years ago. Like, you're an OG. So like that's one category. And then the other is social spaces, social connection. What is the quality of social spaces that fans can enter and collide and become friends? Because people who are in the same fandom like share, in spite of what they look like or where they're from or anything, they share an extremely specific obsession with some aspect of our culture. Like they're going to love that they met each other, like you too. And so good social media, good Discord, good IRL events, like what is it? Like the more vivid those experiences, like the more people are more likely to form friendships. And when people form a friendship in your fandom, then your fandom is more important to them. It's like they actually credit you. They're like, oh, I've met people who love Harry, like in the Harry Potter community, you know, they refer to it as the community when really it's like, I bought the product and like, I met someone I like, and like, there you go. That was enough. And so then I think it's more useful to say like how to build a brand is what's the quality and depth and nuance that you bring to each of these buckets: emotional range, self-identification, and social connection. And like that's more useful because we don't know what the right answer is, right? And like that's a framework that I used at Twitch to evaluate our brand for like engendering fandom.
Tell us what you did at Twitch.
I led a thing called fandom strategy. So we had we have an original content team at Twitch. They're sort of like Twitch originals, where sort of tier one, where basically Twitch would say Twitch operates channels like Twitch Gaming, Twitch Music, and they fill that with content. And so one example of a thing I worked on was called Twitch Rivals, where every week Twitch puts up, you know, $100,000, invites a bunch of, you know, influencers to come play a Fortnite tournament. They all compete, they all stream. The winner, they all split the money. It's a great time. It looks like Monday Night Football, and you know, a million people tune in and like they watch their heroes, you know, compete for money, and like everyone loves it. And then Twitch sponsors the crap out of it. And so I would assess like how do we create a fandom around this show, and then I would apply that framework to something else, like, oh, Twitch has like a weekly show, or this other channel that's more focused on it's kind of like E3 but it's always on, like that's the type of content there. So like what does it mean to engender fandom around that? Yeah, so that's like what I would do.
Similar to China, what happens if the United States bans crypto?
They're not going to ban crypto. Gary Gensler actually just yesterday in a hearing said that they're not going to ban it. They're looking at regulating it. I think regulation is good. Regulation is a sign of progress. It means we are here, we're mature. It's so big, it needs to be like we need to protect consumers. We need to protect all sides of the market. Like that's what happens. Like there are no unregulated markets of consequence. Like all markets, they literally exist as a function of regulation. That is what the market really is. So yeah, we need to decide things like, you know, stable coins we need to understand what's the deal with stable coins, yay or nay. We need to understand custody. I think a lot of financial institutions they have no clarity on how to take custody of tokens. It's like really nuanced, like the questions. And then we need to understand securities laws. Like are all these securities, like what's going on there? And then, so those are the main questions. They're going to get resolved. So I don't know. The thing that I'm most concerned about is basically, you know, the bad thing can happen for literally everything on crypto. The one thing that we can't lose out on is custody. We need to have custody of our crypto. If they say centralized entities, like no more self-custody, it's got to be Coinbase now, that like that's where you deposit your crypto, like it's the law. That's going to be concerning, and that could be like the end of it all. The end, like we have to win that one. That's the one issue that like we must win.
One thing you could do to improve this world, what would you do and why?
If there was one thing I could do to improve this world, okay. Well, I always think about like if I was president, like what would my agenda look like? And I have like a few kinds of things that sound silly. So like I believe that like a lot of our policy that we talk about in the United States, and really like a lot of governments, it's always we're trying to create like some sort of base level survival, like 'cause we have a lot of survival policies. And I think like there's another category of stuff that is valid that we don't talk about, which is like awesome policies. Like what if we had what if we funded what if everyone got a personal trainer and a nutritionist? And what if everyone got like, I don't know, like things like that? Or what if we funded and had farmers markets all around the country, and we were just like, that's a thing people can work on full time, and we always have those. Like there's things that would be awesome to have that are not like the bare minimum. Like I'm like,
love
and we never talk about like, wouldn't it be cool if, or like, what if everyone in America, I don't know, this is gonna sound stupid. What if we send everyone a t-shirt? Or like in Finland, like everyone gets a box when like they have a kid, like they get this cool, fun box with like all these fun outfits in it that look trendy and like they're for your kid. I think there's fun stuff we should be doing like that. It sounds small, but I think it would bring a lot of delight. What if everyone had a trainer? I think a lot of people would love to be a trainer, like for like that'd be a great job. That's their passion. It'd be great to not have to like always be looking for clients. Everyone would be healthier. And then if we had farmers markets everywhere and nutritionists, like everyone could be eating really awesome. That should be a mission we have as a country. Like we should, everyone should strive to like we as a country should strive to have like amazing, like everyone should be able to treat their body like a temple. And that could be like a cool policy. I don't know.
You could get a lot of bipartisan support behind that. Final words. What are your last?
You know, own a piece of the internet. The next internet is here. It has users. More developers build on it every single day. More money flows into it every day. All the metrics are going up. Everything that we look at in like the tech world for what's a good investment, we see it in like everything happening on Ethereum. And if it's, you don't know how to pick companies, that's really hard to do. Pick Ethereum because Ethereum wins when any one thing wins on Ethereum. Ethereum wins at the end of the day. And so I think it's like the best, I think it's the best asset to own. It's the most exciting asset you could possibly own. It's thrilling. If you liked what I had to say, I'm Jason Hitchcock on Twitter. I'm always there. I'm available. You can DM me. Happy to give you tips if you're thinking about crypto and DeFi and NFTs. I can help you navigate.